Hi, this is Dr. Tom Gerard, and I'm going to be going over this preliminary and a beginning lesson on linear programming basic concept. This is the first problem that you'll see, and they go through this in somewhat detail because they want you to really understand how you use Excel for a linear programming problem. And so the problem we're going to look at is this glass company. It's a product mix problem. So think about this in the real world. Now they give us some scenarios. They developed two new products, and there's a lot of wordage in here, but let's just call this doors. An 8-foot glass door and a 4x6 window. So windows and doors. We have three plants at this company, and it shows you here. It says this one puts frames and hardware, and this one's wood frames, this one's glass, and so forth. Now these plants, in a linear programming problem, typically there's going to be some kind of constraint involved. In other words, first of all, should we go ahead and launch these two new products? Well, why would we do that? Well, we want to make more money, right? We want profitable. So if we can get profit out of them, then the answer would be yes. However, these plants already exist and they're already making other things. So we only have so many hours. Now, even if they work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you would have what they call a constraint. That would be the limit of the number of hours that you could work towards anything. And because these plants make other things, they can only devote so much time to the new products of doors and windows. And so given the profits of whatever these things would profit us and how much time we can spend building them would determine, if so, what should be the product mix. In other words, what combination of the two products should we be focusing on? Now let's take a look. First of all, it says, here's my question: which combination of the product production rates, combination of production rates, the number of units produced each week for the two products would maximize the total profit of both of them? And we'll see this as an example, kind of what they're talking about. But we want to, and this was given information. Now here's telling us that plant 1, they can devote an hour for a total, well, first of all, it takes an hour to produce a door here, and we can give 4 hours towards that, right? And here is 3 hours, and we have 18 hours, but at plant 3 we can make doors and windows. At plant 2 we can make windows but not doors, and so forth, right? And so let's do this. Now here's my Excel spreadsheet over here, and first of all, let's just fill in all this stuff. So we've got 1 and 0 and 3, and then up here I got 0, 2, 2. Okay, now, and here is the hours available: 4, 12, 18. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we would want to know if we, oh, and by the way, we want to know how much money we make. So here's the profit. Now the doors, we make $300, and on windows, we make $500. So think about this. If we were unlimited capacity, you'd say, well, let's just, in other words, no constraint, we would just make as many windows as we could because we're making more money. But given in most of these scenarios, we're going to see that, well, maybe what if I could produce 3 doors? That would be 900 in profit for every 1 window. So then you'd say, well, let's maximize how many doors we make. So anyway, there's only a certain amount of doors and windows we can make at these 3 plants. Now the yellow is where we're going to try to determine what's the right combination. So I think over here in our spreadsheet, now of course here it's showing you how to put it in the spreadsheet, which we've already done. Now this orange, this is going to be our formula. This is going to give us the output, the maximum profit, right? And that's a formula. It's calculating it based upon the blue and the yellow. Okay, so now let's continue. So let's think about if I was to just randomly choose some numbers like they've done here. I'm going to put in a 4, and now I'm making 4 windows and 4 doors and 3 windows, right? And you'll see here now it's talking about, it calculates this hours used up here, and it's given me the profit. If I made 4 doors between the 3 plants and 3 windows between the 3 plants, my profit would be $2,700. So I could actually, because this is a formula here in the 468, and this is the formula in the orange, it's going to give us the answer. And so we could actually just start putting numbers in here. We could spend all day long and maybe hours trying to put in different combinations given the constraint. Okay, remember, here's the constraint. It's telling us that we only have so many hours. We don't have 24 hours a day. Okay, so what are we going to do? We're going to use the Microsoft Excel solver for this. And if you'll see here now, I'm going to bring my Excel over here where we can see it just a little bit. Up here, and you're probably here on the home screen. I showed my ribbon for this purpose. And here is data. When I click on data, if we go clear over here to the right, you'll see data analysis and we'll see the solver. Now, if you do not see those, I have another video on how to install them. It's very simple for you to install them in Excel. There's no additional fee. It's part of Excel, so it's part of Microsoft Excel. It's not an external program or an app or anything like that. It just needs to be, I guess you'd say, activated. And I have another video on how to do that. I did notice I had to go back and change this to 0 and 0. We had put some numbers in there that were just trial and error to see what we would come up with. But we're going to let Excel tell us what is the best combination between doors and windows to give us the most profit using the solver. Okay, so now I'm going to hit solver. And you'll notice that here on mine, I've defined these fields. As you can see, it says here total profit. This particular cell, G12, is called total profit. And that's a setting in Excel that you can name one of the cell references or multiple. But let's do this. So imagine that you're starting this from scratch and you don't have that. So I'm going to delete everything in here. Let's see, I'm going to click that. And just imagine now we're starting with a blank screen. And so what do I want? I want to set my objective of G12, which is my total profit. That's a formula. And we want the maximum. In this case, we want to produce the maximum. In some cases, you might have the minimum in a different kind of a problem. You might want to minimize errors in your output of the machine or something. But in this case, we want to know what's the maximum. Okay, now by changing the variable cell, what are we going to change? I'm going to click that there, and we're changing the number of doors and windows. So I'm highlighting the 2 yellow, and we're going to put it here. Now, what is my constraint? My constraint is my available hours. Now, I have to add that here. So I'm going to hit add, and the constraint is these hours. So that's over here under constraint. But the formula is going to determine how many hours. So we need to put that here. Okay, so given the cell reference of how many hours it's going to calculate, given this constraint, and remember it has to be less than or equals to, because we can't go over this. We don't have more than 4 hours. So this is what this is telling us. If we can't go over 4 hours, 12 and 18, which of the combination is going to give us the total profit? Okay, so I'm going to hit OK. Now you'll see that mine has renamed it again just because it knows that that's what it's called. But yours might still say G12 or whatever you've chose there, or units produced, which is what we're changing in the yellow. And our constraint, which is the hours available as given the hours used. So let's try this. I'm going to hit solve. And you'll see, now you didn't see it here, but there's a button that pops up. And this says keep solver or restore original, or you just cancel it and puts it back to 0. But I'm going to keep it because this is our answer. It's telling us now that the best combination of this product mix is 2 windows and 6 doors to give us the maximum profit of $3,600. So remember, before we would have to put these in and out, a bunch of numbers, put 1 and 1 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 3 and so on until we hit to the maximum of the constraint. But this did it all for us using Microsoft Excel Solver. And this is a introduction to linear programming. And again, it will get more complex as we go, but this will at least get you going to understand kind of how we're headed, what path we're headed. We want to use Excel to give us answers to some of these common questions that a company might have, like what's the best combination given these parameters. So thanks for watching, and I hope this helped you.